I am here with Aaron, Nicholas, Victoria. We're talking about Beezel. So, where did the idea, Victoria and Aaron, where did the idea come from?
Hmm. Well, we knew that we were going to do this connective tissue of story all about a witch. We felt really strongly that it worked for the location we were looking at, which was Aaron's childhood home. It's set in Western Massachusetts, land of the history of witches.
Yes.
So I think all of that really started to fit into itself when we knew where we were filming and we knew we were able to shoot over the course of the winter and just a witch that lived in the basement. It also brought back some childhood trauma for him from living in the spooky house. And yeah, that's where Beezel was born.
Yeah, it was a very unconventional way to make a movie. We over the last few years, starting during the pandemic, really, Vic and I started to make short horror films for our YouTube channel, Social House Films. And so we had this short film written about a night nurse caring for this sickly woman. And we went to Massachusetts to film this short film, which was supposed to be part of an anthology. But when I came back to LA, I cut it, and the feedback was so resoundingly positive from everybody that we showed it to. It kind of galvanized us to then write the story of what happened before and what happened after. So we ended up going right back to Massachusetts to where I grew up, and we completed filming this feature-length story. And it sort of turned into this very unique way of telling a story that takes place over 60 years.
And Nicholas, when did you get involved with this process?
I got it. I believe we shot in February, right? End of February.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, into March.
Yeah.
And I got involved in January, right? Yeah. Yeah, I got a call from Aaron and Victoria about this movie. And just before that, I had an accident with a horse. And yeah, and I was like, oh my God, and my head was like, was smashed and everything. And I got this call and I was like, well, I probably am a little dumber now, so that's the right time to to go forward and try to do something new. And yeah, I knew Aaron's work and Victoria's work for many years, and when I got this opportunity, I felt really lucky. So I was like, yeah, let's go to Massachusetts and try to do good work, right? And also, they know that I'm from the west of France, where there's ghosts and dwarves and witches. So I guess I was the right part for it, isn't it? Yeah, this is it.
So, where does the name Beezel actually come from? Because it's not your typical witch name. So, it's not that there is one, but this one's a little odd.
Sure. So that was a play off of Beelzebub, and Beezel being an ancient creature herself, it felt like she had been around and likely entwined with the devil itself, and Beezel would be an offspring of that. And it just felt very natural. Once we kind of tried it out, tried some different spellings, and eventually people would just kind of react like, ooh, Beezel. And it had the right fit that we were looking for, and that was it. Beezel was sealed into the script.
Yeah.
So, Aaron, you mentioned this was your childhood home, and that Western Massachusetts, or Massachusetts as a whole, is known for witches and scary type stories and things like that. So, how much of your childhood imagination went into this script and this idea?
Oh, a hell of a lot. I mean, a lot of the scares, it's not like it went down exactly that way when I was growing up, but as a 6-year-old in this terrifying 1-story long sprawling stone house in the middle of winter, it's pretty terrifying. And we have a boiler downstairs that would always just creak and make all of these noises, and my bedroom was right above this basement. And right, if you go to take the stairs down the basement, there's a little crawl space door that leads in between the walls, and just goes the entire length of the house.
Ooh.
I would hear noises from down there, and it was scary. And so it wasn't too much a stretch of the imagination when writing this to imagine, what that could have been.
And the great part about that is that when the cast and crew were there, the crew, we were staying at the house as well, and the crew on the other side of the house would be like, next morning, do you guys hear a lot of stuff in the night in the house? And we are like, yeah. I was like, I've been telling people for years.
Actually, at the end of the shoot, I was just walking around with the microphone, and I was just I just told everyone to be quiet, and I was just capturing the sounds of the house. And
Really?
a lot of the Foley that you hear, a lot of the sound effects, most of it, it's actually just the creaking house sounds. There was another really terrifying moment, where in the middle of the night at around 2 a.m., a giant tree branch fell in the middle. It was like 2 a.m. during a snowstorm. This is a tree branch that had probably been there since I moved in.
Wow.
It nearly fell on the roof. I mean, it came within maybe a couple feet of the house and almost caved the roof in. We were so lucky that it didn't actually land on the house or hurt anyone. But we ended up getting that in the film. So
Yeah, and I also feel that it's also about the energy in the house during the shooting, right? Because I remember the bedroom I was sleeping in, which was great. We had like two closet, right? And after the scenes we did, so I was sleeping in this bedroom, and at night, I remember one night I was like, I'm just gonna check, just to make sure that there's nothing in there. And like it happened to me like 2, 3 times. I didn't tell you guys, but now you know. Yeah, yeah.
I was going to ask both you and Victoria, the setting, how much did that play into your characters and the feel of the film?
Oh my gosh. I believe that this house was haunted for a very long time. So for me, it was a very natural reaction in the house. The house, for me, it didn't feel like a sinister presence, but a presence nonetheless. So, and that works for my character because my character actually, has her own relationship with what goes on there. And so I thought that really worked well, that I didn't find the house to be malicious, but I found it to be something that gets under your skin. And that just worked really well for me.
Feed ourselves with that energy and vibes. Yeah.
I think it kind of comes across, and I think you did pick a really great setting, and certainly being in Western Massachusetts in the middle of winter, not an ideal setting, but certainly one for this film. Aaron, I got to ask you, do you have siblings?
I don't. I'm an only child.
Okay. Well, I was going to
A lot
say
scarier that way.
And what did your parents feel about you filming in the house and making a horror film, no less?
They were very, they were very, very supportive. At the end of the shoot, we actually left some blood stains, the fake blood stains, of course, on the basement floor and on the wall of my parents' bedroom.
We tried everything to get them out, but this type just stained, or maybe the cement was more porous than I was expecting. I don't know.
I will tell you, this is actually the first time I'm even publicly saying this. This is how they might even find out that this happened. But they after they sold the house, the new owners said that the stains are still there, and that they call this house the murder house, and that's now how it's known in the neighborhood.
Well, we just did really well to do a good movie. That's all you need to know, I guess.
Yeah.
So this movie actually was screened previously at Popcorn Frights down here in South Florida, and I didn't get to be there that night, but what kind of reaction did you get from the audience, feedback kind of thing about it?
Well, they gave us I was just going to say they really honored us by, I believe they opened the festival with Beezel, which was amazing. As a filmmaker, you just feel so grateful when you get that compliment. And Aaron actually got some direct messages, some private messages from different filmmakers and different attendees just saying that, what was it? It was a very active crowd, or they were very
very active
reactive.
crowd, and that's how you know that I think it went over well. Is I was receiving all of these messages from fans of the film, and they were just telling me how scary it was and how well it went.
Yeah, because I didn't get to be there. I was like, when I got this opportunity to do the interview, I said, "Oh yes, I need to do it, and I need to see the film." And so I'm really glad I finally got to see it, even though it wasn't with a huge crowd. But I want to ask you specifically about writing and then going on in the future. I feel like there wasn't much said about Beezel's origin story and why she feeds on whatever she's feeding on, hint, hint. So is that something you would want to explore in the future? And Nicholas, how do you think your character would want to see that type of thing go?
The writing part, yeah. I think that for the development of Beezel, it was very fun to really leave a trail of breadcrumbs in the story. And one of our favorite things, and we've seen this with some of our short films that have really responded well with their viewers, is when we put it out there, but it's really for them to interpret what's going on, or to give us their suggestions and ideas on what they think is happening. And that's like the whole relationship with the viewer and the creator, is that storytelling component. So it was really fun just putting a few breadcrumbs in this one. And then, if Beezel has a longer lifespan, then we'll be happy to put some more breadcrumbs out, maybe a crust of bread next time instead of a crumb.
We do actually have like a page written of Beezel's backstory that, obviously that's important that we know, why is she here? Where did she come from? What is her story? It was a deliberate choice not to include that as much in this film, but we do know where she comes from, and we do know why she's there.
Ah, okay.
Slowly giving it out.
And so if there is ever a sequel, that would be an interesting thing to explore.
Yes, I agree. And Nicholas, would you want to be in a sequel?
Well, I would love to. Working with these people has been great. The team was amazing, and yeah, for me it was my first horror movie. So it's brand new to me, and I really, really loved it. Everything was great, and I really, was feeding on the atmosphere of the house, and as Aaron and Victoria just said, there's not much about Beezel, about her story, backstory, and everything. And that was also really interesting for me as an actor, because I could also create everything I wanted. Be like, oh, so she could move this way, she could be here or there. Maybe she killed, like, I don't know, like plenty of people, along the years, and in very like different ways. So as an actor, it was great because it was a big space to create.